So here we are, the BMW 2022 R1250GS. And this is about 1 year and 3 months and nearly 30,000 miles into ownership. So what do we have so far? Let's take a look. So let's start from the very beginning. When you power the bike on, you have this cool menu pop up. And there it is, 29,023 miles. And the rev indicator, which actually adjusts as the engine warms up. When it starts, the red line is actually more like 5K, and it slowly raises. And you know, this menu is fine, but I think it could be time for an update. You know, BMW can plug it in and maybe create a whole new screen, at least give us some options. You know, you can go through the menus nicely and all of that with the Wonder Wheel, but this, even in any mode that you want to be in, it stays the same. Nothing changes, and it gets old after a while. So I would recommend a change there for sure. So let's talk about reliability. You know, it's been pretty reliable. I haven't really had any problems that weren't created on my own. But one thing to definitely be aware of is nothing about this is cheap. And I mean nothing. This piece of plastic here at the edge of the exhaust tip was over $100. A bolt is around $6 a piece. So nothing is cheap here. But otherwise, luckily reliable. I've really only had to do oil changes and maintenance outside, again, of anything I've done on my own. It has been dropped a couple of times, and these crash bars are a lifesaver. I think this bike would have actually been totaled by now if it wasn't for these crash bars alone. This box, Vario top box, has been wonderful. It's fit everything I've ever needed it to fit. It's expandable, and it comes off super easily. I could do it with one hand here. You just pull this, and it's ready to go, or at least it would be if I didn't have one hand. There we go, see? It's off. Attaches right there in the back, and goes back on just as quickly. I have not had any reason to get side cases. This thing has fit everything I've needed it to fit. The side cases, though, work the exact same. They clip into these bits right here, and if you're doing some serious long distance with a lot of luggage, I believe they would fit everything you need. The seats are very comfortable. Don't mind this. Things happen. This has 30,000 miles on it, but they're pretty comfortable. I took a trip from LA, or San Francisco to LA, and then back to San Francisco, and my butt did get a little worn, I guess. Now this is the low seat, in the low setting, so maybe it doesn't have as much cushioning as the regular seat does. That could have been the issue, but my butt was definitely the biggest issue I had, along with the standard windshield, which I have upgraded. This is the tallest windshield I could find. Now, it is from V-Stream. I'll try to put a link in the description, and it works great. It actually does stop all the wind from coming in, and I'll put a view here about what we are looking at here. So this is my eye line, I would say, when it's down, and then putting it up, which is about as easy as the regular windshield. It goes to about here, and it does a pretty good job of blocking the wind. It is nice and clear. I bought a cheap one on Amazon for like 50 bucks, and it wasn't as tall. It had all kinds of lines and scratches in it. After a very short while, this thing has held up very nicely and is the tallest one I could find. It's not quite as good as the RT models, but it blocks nearly everything, so it's a world of difference. This I have gotten on eBay for like 20 bucks and has saved my headlights at least once already. I had one that was chipped and replaced it again very quickly and easily. Just bolts in right here with the standard locations and is worth every penny. I also think it looks pretty good too. I have the Clearwater fog lights, which have been wonderful. They are very, very bright. I like the yellow lenses. Makes me very, very visible. And they even have like a flash to pass situation, so if you hit the brights 3 times, it gives a hyper flash, and it's like parting the Red Sea. Everybody gets out of your way. It's pretty great. These came in white originally, and they are now black, which I think gives it a much cleaner look. I think the white just stuck out a little too much, and I had to get a helmet hook, which I don't know, was about 40 bucks from one of the local dealerships, because BMW does not provide one on your own. But other than that, outside of a cell phone holder, the RAM mounts, which I do recommend, they've been great. They don't look like they'll hold your phone very well, but they do. And they also offer an elastic bit that really holds it in over anything. Other than these things, I have done 0 modifications. At least none others that I can think of. Everything else about this has been great and good and reliable, but again, just not cheap. So, as a short guy, would I recommend this bike? Well, maybe. If you are just bumping around town, you know, doing short trips, running errands, I'm sorry to say, this ain't it. This is a behemoth. It is a lot to pull around. But if you're doing long trips, if you're commuting a good distance, if you really like the long twisty roads, this is the best bike for it. I mean, once you're moving, it feels like a sport bike. It's great. It's got all the power you'll ever need. It's super comfortable. I mean, the weight disappears once you're really moving. But little short trips, just errands and stuff, oh man, it's exhausting to haul around, especially as a shorter guy. Now, it is doable, okay? Again, I'm 5'6", I have a 30-inch inseam, and with the low seat and low suspension and everything, it's fine. I don't feel after the first week it wasn't a big deal. But again, it's just a lot of weight, and it will become pretty exhausting. You'll want to take a different bike if you're just doing little short errands and stuff like that. But again, if you ride a lot, you know, if you're doing longer distances, it's the best. If you can afford it, that's the key. It is just such an expensive bike. Premium fuel only about 30-35 miles to the gallon. Even on the highway, you're lucky to get 50 if you're hyper mileage. So definitely something to think of. By the way, guys, if you're wondering what your stance may be like, this is basically what it looks like, as I am 5'6" with a 30-inch inseam. This is the low suspension model in its standard height, and I'm still a bit on my tiptoes, so this is what to expect if you are the same height. So look, I don't make a lot of money, all right? To help pay for this, I've actually put it on a couple of rental platforms. I'm not necessarily proud of this, but it is basically paid for this thing entirely so far. I live in San Francisco, a very tourist-heavy location. There's some amazing roads around here that are very desirable for motorcycles, and so I get a rental about once a week on average. I'll put some links down below on the different websites that I'm on. If you want to rent it for yourself, you're more than welcome to. You know, it's fully covered by insurance and stuff. So while I hate giving away my baby, and this is my baby, make no mistake, it's fully taken care of. All of my renters have been super respectful and nice and wonderful. So I do recommend it if you're having trouble paying for it, or if you just want the extra money and you don't mind your baby being taken out by random strangers. Again, not my favorite thing to do, but I mean, it is completely paid for. I basically have a free BMW R1250GS, and so I can't hate that. So, should you get this bike? Well, if you're commuting long distance, you go out a lot on longer rides, and you can afford it, then yes, this is the bike. It is the undisputed king. It's wonderful, it's reliable, it's everything you would want a bike to be. If you're just using it to tool around town, if you're kind of living paycheck to paycheck, whatever, think long and hard. Because the niceness of it, the fun of it, wears off really quick when you're paying those bills every month. I don't recommend it, honestly. Get something else. Even a smaller one would be, you know, much more affordable and easier to haul around, little shorter trips and stuff. I have another bike that I use when I'm just running errands and stuff, much smaller. This only gets taken out like on weekends or long trips and stuff like that. So yeah, that's it. 30,000 miles. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. If you want more info about anything, feel free to comment down below. I'll make more videos, but that's basically it. As my short king review of the low suspension BMW R1250GS. Hope it was helpful in any way. I'm here to help, so ask any questions down below. Thanks for watching.